Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to completely shift how you look at your own mind today by exploring the 11-level architecture of the human psyche. If you've ever found yourself wondering why certain patterns just keep repeating in your life, or why your reactions sometimes just totally don't match the situation you're in, well, you're in the right place. We're about to explore the hidden machinery behind it all.
All right, let's dive right in with a phrase, well, pretty much all of us use every single day. I'm fine. You know the one, for gritted teeth. It is the absolute perfect example of the illusion that our surface emotions are the whole story. When someone says, I'm fine like that, it is the ultimate case of the surface layer, what we call level 10, literally lying about every single level operating beneath it. We tend to think that whatever we're feeling right now is our entire reality. But, as you'll see, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Now, researchers call this the stratified ontology of the psyche, which I know is a really fancy academic way of saying your mind is a dynamic, layered system. It's not just a flat surface. Imagine it stretching from a deep, almost unnameable generative ground at the very bottom, all the way up to your manifest, everyday experience at the top. It's these deep currents, invisible to the naked eye, that are entirely responsible for driving your daily emotional weather. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll hit the surface illusion. Second, systems and rendered worlds. Third, deep patterns and symbols. Fourth, the generative ground. And finally, we'll tie it all together by reading the whole system.
Starting with Part 1, the surface illusion, levels 10 to 8.
Okay, look at how a shallow, everyday emotion totally contrasts with its deep, structural reality. At level 10, our manifest experience, you might just say, man, I feel jealous when your partner looks at someone else. And it's real, right? It's visceral. But if we dig down to level 4, what's actually happening is a psychological complex. You aren't just feeling a fleeting emotion. You're actually running a pre-written looping score of abandonment. You're scanning for signs, misinterpreting ambiguity as rejection, defending yourself using old relational scripts. The jealousy is just the output. The complex, that's the engine.
Drop in just a bit below that surface, we hit level 9 and level 8. Level 9? That's conscious participation, basically being a lucid dreamer in your own life. You are still in the dream, you still feel the emotion, but you kind of know you're in it, which gives you that crucial split second of choice. And right beneath that is level 8, selfhood. Now, your self isn't some physical thing sitting inside your brain, it's an actively maintained pattern. Think of it like a narrative braid you weave across time to hold your memories, your agency, and your perspectives together into one cohesive center of gravity.
Moving right along to Part 2, Systems and Rendered Worlds, covering levels 7 down to 5.
All right, at level 7, we hit what's called the fractal collective. Think of a fractal, right? Like a fern leaf. It repeats its exact shape no matter how close you zoom in or how far you pull back. At this level, you suddenly realize why your workplace dynamic might feel literally identical to your childhood family. It's no coincidence. It's the exact same relational geometry echoing across different scales. So, that unspoken rule not to upset a volatile parent, it gets perfectly recreated as a corporate culture under a domineering founder.
Now think about a thermostat, stage fright, and a panic attack. What on earth do those three have in common? Well, they're all built on the exact same underlying mechanism, a recursive error correction loop. This operates at level 6, the layer of regulation. So a panic attack is literally an over-tightened control loop in your nervous system. Your body predicts a threat, raises its vigilance, and then, when you notice your own racing heart, that sensory input becomes a self-confirming prediction of danger. It spins out of control, exactly like a broken thermostat. Part 3. Deep patterns and symbols, levels 4 down to 2.
This mapping is so cool because it shows exactly how these deeper layers build on each other. Down at level 2, we've got archetypes. Now, these aren't literal little people in your head, they're basins of attraction. They are universal gravity wells, like the mother, the hero, or the trickster, that pull human experiences into recurring shapes. And those archetypical gravity wells give birth to level 3, our cultural symbols. From there, those symbols tangle together to form level 4, our own personal complexes, which act like whirlpools trapping our energy in looping melodies.
So, keeping level 3 in mind, remember this linguistic pivot. A symbol is literally never just an object. Think about a wedding ring or a national flag. It's a maximally compressed world. When you look at a wedding ring, you aren't just seeing a piece of metal. You're looking at a highly compressed zip file holding promise, time, memory, exclusivity, and extreme vulnerability. A symbol radiates outward. It does enormous emotional work by bridging the visible world with those invisible depths we've been talking about.
And this brings us back up to level 4, the complexes. I want you to think about a time you just totally blew up over something tiny. An argument that was supposedly just about dirty dishes in the sink. Was it actually about the dishes? Yeah, probably not. That disproportion is the exact signature of a level 4 complex announcing its massive hidden size. The whirlpool caught a passing leaf, the dishes, and forced it into a massive pre-existing shape of feeling unvalued or abandoned. When the reaction doesn't match the event, that's how you know for sure you've hit a complex.
Part 4. We've reached the absolute bottom, the generative ground, levels 1 and 0.
Down at level 1, we find polarity. This is the layer right before things fully separate. It's the idea that opposites don't just clash, they actually hold each other together to create form. Kind of like the taut string of a drawn bow, or a magnet's opposing charges. When you argue with a teenager, for instance, it's rarely just about bedtime. It's the fundamental polarity of attachment versus autonomy fighting to find a stable form. You literally cannot define inside without outside or self without other. The tension itself is the structure.
And finally, level 0, the field. This is an incredibly abstract layer. It's the sea before named waves, the silence before the melody. It's a preconceptual generative openness that basically acts as the blank canvas, allowing all other psychic forms to appear. If you've ever stood on a foggy beach at dawn, no horizon, no figures, just pure, unstructured potential, that luminous gradient is what level 0 feels like.
Part 5. Reading the whole system. We call this the cascade.
Now that we've hit rock bottom, let's shoot all the way back up to the surface and see how all 11 layers operate simultaneously in a single, everyday event. Take a funeral, for example. We can read it through this cross-level cascade. At level 10, tears just arrive without warning. But why? Because at level 6, the autonomic nervous system feels the safety of the ritual, allowing those tears to flow. Meanwhile, at level 5, your entire rendered world just shifted from a normal Tuesday to the world without him. At level 4, an old buried father complex might open up. Down at level 2, the ancient archetype of the mourner activates, identical across thousands of years of human history. And all the way down at level 1, the fundamental polarity of presence and absence reaches its absolute peak. One moment, all 11 layers.
So what does this all mean? The ultimate takeaway here is a totally radical redefinition of what it actually means to be well. Psychological health is not the absence of tension. It's definitely not reaching some Zen state where nothing ever bothers you. Rather, it is the capacity to hold and metabolize tension across all 11 layers of your being without fragmenting. It's about building the flexibility to let the weather happen up at level 10, while remaining securely anchored all the way down to level 0.
I'm going to leave you with a quick thought experiment to try out right now. Take your current felt state, whatever you're experiencing in your body and mind at this exact second. Name it in one word. Got it? Okay, now ask yourself, what unseen load-bearing depths, what symbols, what complex loops, what fractal family patterns are actually rendering your world today? Because whatever you just named is only the weather. Thanks for exploring the depths with me on today's Explainer. Keep looking below the surface.